right. Sit Down Zumock podcast in full effect, coming live and direct from Tampa, Florida. Dalton, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. How's Florida?
Fucking love it. I love it. It was the best decision. I was moving to New York before the pandemic. I was moving out of LA to New York, and I said, New York's going to be a shithole for a long time. So I just said, I'm going to Florida.
Yeah, New York sucks right now. And everyone here is in an alarming amount of denial about it.
I noticed that.
Yeah, because I talk to people and I'm like, does it seem to you like this city fucking sucks right now? And they go, no, I think we're back to normal. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This doesn't feel okay.
Yeah, I heard Mark Norman talking on a podcast. He's like, New York's back, baby. Then I talked to my one friend. He goes, I'm getting the fuck out of here. It's crazy here. He goes, I just saw a dude beating the shit out of a woman on a street corner. He goes, I'm afraid to go out of my house.
Yeah, that's honestly what's going to end up happening is like, I'm seeing it happen is slowly but surely. It's going to start with the homeless. They're going to start getting rowdy. They already are. And then it's going to work its way up to like Jamaicans and St. Lucian and Crown Heights. It's going to work its way through the poverty line until it finally reaches comedians, rich kids. You know what I mean?
Where's comedians going in the line? Is it above Jamaicans? Well,
these comedians in New York are all rich kids, so they're not going to feel it until it's at the wolves are at the door. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we see the videos, and I've been privy in real life to homeless people getting, they're starting to get crazier. And I'm like, it's only a matter of time before all these rich kid comics are like, oh, New York actually sucks, I'm leaving.
And they're going to get the fuck out.
Maybe. I don't know, because a lot of people seem to stick around in spite of the fact that they're having no fun.
Yeah.
So
when did you move to New York? You're from Texas, right?
Dude, I thrive in this environment. I moved here 4 years ago, sight unseen from Texas. I had never visited. I grew up in the middle of nowhere. And so just being out here, I was just the whole time I've been like, man, this is cool. I'm not used to buildings.
How did you get a place? How'd you navigate if you just came in?
I knew there was a comedian I started with from Dallas who she's crazy, and she had tried LA and she failed. And then she moved to New York.
So did I.
Yeah.
I tried LA and I failed.
You're smart. You landed in Florida, which is smart. You got to go where I say always go where the Jews are. Wherever there's Jews, that's why I picked New York.
You've always said that.
Yeah, I've always said that. New York, Florida, California, Los Angeles, just wherever there's a big, like a dense concentration of Jews.
Follow the Jews and then crucify them.
Mm-hmm. You've heard the expression, the almighty dollar.
Oh, yeah.
Well, who owns the dollar but the Jews?
They probably came up with that.
Yeah, they probably invented the expression and corrupted us with it.
So if you were living in Texas and all the comics are moving to Austin, how come you didn't go to Austin?
No, that wasn't happening 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
No, Austin has turned into the faggiest city in America over the last 2 years, because what Austin used to be was an artist community. It was like where poor people lived and played music and did comedy and experimented. And then industry saw this happening and said, wow, what a thriving ecosystem of creativity. And all this industry started moving into Austin. And so then what ends up happening is Austin is a weird place. So then now Austin has a slogan, keep Austin weird. That's the beginning of the end. Now they got shirts. They got merch. This city itself has merch now. So we're done. It's over. And over the years, it's just gotten worse and worse until now it's just a tax haven for Los Angeles.
What was funny is I performed there like about 2017. It was me, Jim Florentine, Sam Tripoli, and Brody Stevens. We did like a Texas tour. And I remember being so unimpressed with it. and we stayed in an Airbnb, and it was just homeless people everywhere. I go, this place sucks.
Let me tell you what I'm doing. This is a funny story because these art communities go unnoticed until they're noticed.
Right.
And so what Austin used to be, there is a town like that in Texas, and it'll never get taken over because it's where I went to college. It's a little town called Denton, Texas.
Denton, Texas.
Yeah, home of the University of North Texas. You might have heard of Mean Joe Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the reason we're called the Mean Green.
Really?
Yeah. And so that's where I went to college, and that's a true artist community. Nobody has any money. Rent is about $300 a month. The drinks are about $1. You can get a vodka soda for about $1 anywhere you go. And it's where I started comedy. And so I was doing comedy alongside musicians and painters and poets. It was like a Renaissance town. Like I'm very grateful I got to experience this place. And so what I'm doing, so here's what happened here, because somebody tried to make this place into Austin, like the industrial cultural industry that is Austin.
Right.
Are you familiar with My Name is Earl?
The TV show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that actor, Jason Lee?
Yeah.
Okay. So at one moment in time when I was still going to college there, he moved to that town and bought a farm and was buying up all this like real estate in the town square. He bought a bar, and he was trying to do what Rogan is doing to Austin right now. And the town itself collectively got together and said, fuck you, dude.
Really?
Like they didn't care about his celebrity status or any of that. Everybody was clowning on him, writing articles about how much he sucks. And I remember when I was just walking through the square one day, I saw him and I was like, wait, My Name is Earl? What is he? I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And I go into this bar, Andy's bar, and I go to the bartender. I'm like, yo, I just saw fucking My Name is Earl out there. And she goes, Jesus Christ, that fucking guy.
Wow. They're like, fuck you, Hollywood.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is in January 16th, I'm taking my show, The Loud Boys, along with Comedy Fight Club to that very bar, Andy's bar in Denton, Texas.
Let's plug them right away. I hate when people plug at the end. So plug your podcasts and your Twitter and everything else.
Yeah, the podcast is called The Loud Boys. We're on patreon.com/loudboys. Free episodes are up anywhere you get podcasts.
Are you Patreon exclusively?
No. We do a free episode on a Patreon, and we are buddied up with Louis J. Gomez. We record at Gas Digital, and we work alongside his network. So check his shows out too, but mostly check ours out. And
Apple, iTunes, wherever you get podcasts.
Yeah. So on the Patreon, we just did a live show at the stand. That's actually going to be up on the Patreon Monday.
You just had Karen Freehand on?
Yeah. We've had some great guests.
Kurt
Dan
Metzger,
Soder,
Mike Figs, Mark Norman.
Hey.
He's been on my podcast.
Yeah.
Soder. Yeah. Go hit subscribe. Brian Long.
Yeah. It's a fun show.
I got to tell you, the reason why I wanted to have you on, I think you're a funny guy, dude. Like, because I didn't know much about you until we did MLC together. And I did, you know how you just go down loopholes on YouTube and shit. I watch a lot of your stuff and you're making me laugh. So, and I'm.
Well, you want to know why no one knows who I am?
Why?
Because that's on purpose. I keep my head down for the most part. And then I popped up over the last year just because I felt like it was time, like I was presented with the opportunity and I just started running with it. But I come from kind of the same school that I think you and a lot of guys do, because I started in Dallas at a time before all this podcasting shit was really going off.
Right.
Before comedy became part of like this weird industry of culture that it is now.
Yeah.
it was just the road. It was a club thing. So I'm from the school of, you drive out to fucking Tulsa to the loony bin.
I just did that.
You sleep in a shitty hotel or a condo.
Shitty condo.
You do awful shows all weekend with a guy that you don't respect.
Jesus Christ, you just described my whole weekend.
Yeah, and then at the end of the weekend, you have a very lovely conversation with the bartenders, and you hand them a stack of money, so they'll invite you back.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed it. I didn't get to do the road a lot when I was in Dallas, but every time I got to do that shit, because that was what I was always attracted to in comedy, was comedy, actual stand-up comedy. I loved it. And then I moved to New York, and what's in New York but rich kids who grew up with nonsense? They don't know a goddamn thing about stand-up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, young comics, man. There's so many. It's a different world, the road, compared to like New York and LA. It is a different fucking road.
Well, have you done Laugh It Up Poughkeepsie or Mahoney's?
I have not.
I was just there with my show, and I was talking to the manager there. It's a club in a hotel conference room, which is most of the rooms that I will do. Mm-hmm. And the manager is a cool fucking dude.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Robbie and Joe saying, this is so cool. Like, we get to do the road, and they just didn't get it. And they were nervous the whole time. And I said, guys, all we got to do is have fun, be nice, remind the audience to tip the waiters and waitresses, and then hand the way. And then they couldn't wrap their heads around this. I said, and then at the end of the night, we go to the bar keeps and say, hey, here's $50. Thanks for having us. And they were like, why would you do that? And I go, because they need babysitters.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't understand why this is so hard. This is a very human thing to do.
I think I work a lot. I worked a lot road gigs, and I was always invited back just because I treat the wait staff like human beings, and I hung out with them and I tipped them. But there's a lot of comics that don't understand that.
Well, nobody wants to admit this, and I'll get back to my plugs here in a minute. Nobody wants to admit this, but the job of comedy on the road, and I enjoy it, is to be kind of a carny. You're selling cocktails and chicken tenders to drunk assholes.
Right.
It's fun, dude. I enjoy it. Can I tell you something?
Sure.
When I was starting doing open mics, and when I finally was emceeing at Hyenas in Dallas, Fort Worth, and all that, they got this thing there. It's genius. It's a genius way for the bar to make money. And it's humiliating for an open micer. It's called the blowjob shot. You know what that is?
Yeah, they did it in Oklahoma actually when I was just there.
Yeah. Where they have this shot of liquor that's like $20, and then the comic has to bring the person up and embarrass them. Yeah, and be like, "All right, Samantha, this is the blowjob shot," and the audience is like, "Oh, this whore." Yeah, and then she has to drink it with her arms behind her back, and the audience applauds, and the waitresses just made $20 on a shot of nothing. Yeah, and so I was telling the manager at Poughkeepsie about this, and he goes, "What are you talking about?" And I go, "Buddy, I'm about to blow your dick off this weekend. I'm going to sell one of these things and show you what this is." And so I was like sitting at the merch table, really just pushing this blowjob shot because I wanted to make one of my friends do this. Yeah. And I ended up selling one. I sold it for $10. So it was a $10 shot of eggnog and Jameson that we decided on. And I had my buddy Justin Lanza bring the lady up that it was for, this little practical joke. Yeah. And it's so nice if you're going up last, if you've written nothing, to have that little buffer there to get the audience loosened up. Yeah. To have this moment where they go, "What the fuck is this?" And then I go up and I'm like, "Oh yeah, give it up for that. I am a professional for sure." But also the bartenders were like, "That's awesome. That's money."
That's great. Good for you. Actually, when I was just in Oklahoma, I thought about you because last time we did a podcast, you brought up Bronze, the hamburger place. Brahms. And I ate there because I was like, all right, I remember this. And I ate the good burger. Pretty fucking good burger.
Good burger. Yeah. Did you get any ice cream?
I didn't get the ice cream. I just got a burger and fries, man. But it was good.
Chad, I got to tell you something. This is going to sound crazy. You know what's really good at Brahms?
What?
And you ask anybody in Texas and Oklahoma, they'll vouch for this. Their milk.
Well, they have the milk in there. It's like a little dairy mart. It's like a little
It's a dairy market, but I'm telling you, dude, that milk might as well be a milkshake. It's
really
crazy how good that milk is.
Okay.
You next time you're at Brahms, get you a gallon of milk, dude.
All right. Take it back to the comedy condo.
Yeah, take it back to the condo. Have you a glass of milk at the end of the night. From
All right.
Brahms.
Hey, listen, you weren't wrong about the burger, so I'm sure the milk's going to be fantastic.
And the ice cream. Oh, the ice cream is. I love that place, dude. I love regional fast food. I'm trash, man. That was all there was to do in my hometown was go to a fast food restaurant.
No, that's good. I mean, you're humble. You come from a good background. You got good roots.
Yeah.
It's hard to find humble people in this fucking business.
Well, I grew up in a very religious Southern town, and I was raised by a family of soldiers and killers. So I just have programming in me. I'm not allowed to ever believe in myself.
Oh, so you have to just.
I was raised to take orders and die for my country. And I'm doing comedy right now.
I come from a family. My grandfather was in World War II. My dad served in Vietnam. So I have I'm the only person pretty much that didn't serve.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it was like in your house, but my dad is severely traumatized. And
my dad left me before I was born. So
yeah, you're so lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I'm pretty lucky.
Well, because my dad not only is he a veteran, but when he was a civilian, when he was raising me, his day job was he was a prison guard.
Oh, Jesus.
So he raised me like it was like we were in prison. And
did he hit you?
A few times, yeah.
Wow.
Him and my mom belt.
Yeah, I've gotten the belt. Yeah. I know how that goes.
Yeah. Their only regret is they didn't hit me more. And Chad, not joking about that. My mom regularly tells me that. She said, we did not hit you enough. And I'm like, how could you say that to your son?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I think that's why you fit in so well with the Legion of Skanks, because you have that military background.
Oh, yeah. I'm always at war.
Constantly fighting on Twitter. It's great.
Luis J. Gomez literally sanctions podcast wars. So I guess I just recreated everything from my upbringing.
I thought that was really ballsy of you to go on Legion of Skanks and say to Dave Smith's face that Kevin Brennan was funnier.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That I didn't realize how sensitive both of those guys are. I wouldn't have done that if I knew.
I mean, the repercussions, weren't you banned for life or something?
No, there was never anything. I just look like a jackass because they couldn't handle a little ribbing, or not really them. I think I don't know what's going on. Chad, I don't understand the world we're in right now.
Right.
Everybody's taking themselves too seriously.
I understand, man. People are sensitive. That's one of the reasons why I got the hell out of LA is because I came in there with that ball busting attitude and no, it did not go over well at all.
But it's not, by the way. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So that's LA. There's people in New York who I think are pretending to be like they're from New York, but can't handle ball busting.
Yeah.
Even if they grew up here, I'm like, but you dish it out, but can't take it.
Well, even like in these new comics, and I mean, everyone they grew up watching and admiring was the Patrice, the Jim Norton, the Colin Quinn, the Rich Voss, the Tough Crowd, where they were just constantly shitting on each other. And then they get into the scene, they get passed by the cellar. They're like, let's play nice. We're nice people.
Yeah. You want to know how I know Rich Voss is like an actual genuine person? Like, even though he acts the way he does, there's just like little moments, like the way people, their actions.
Yeah, no, I like Rich.
And I'm just saying, like, people think he's a dick, and they think that he's doing like a character or something. But I can tell that he's just a genuine guy, because I've had like open and honest conversations with him the few times I've talked to him about sobriety.
Yeah.
But also when we were at Skankfest, I talked to him about merch every now and then, and the joke is he's always like, what is an MC doing with merch?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, Rich, it's so much worse. I don't even MC, dude. I wish I could MC.
Yeah, he's got his little stock lines. Like I just worked with him in Port Charlotte like a couple months ago, and I've known him forever. And he's like, oh, you're middling for me. Go get me some coffee. I'm like, yeah, I've heard that, Rich. You've been using it for 15 years.
It's funny. Yeah, I love it.
I think it's funny too, but I just like,
it's so Jewish.
Yeah.
It's so Jewish.
Yeah.
But at Skankfest, and this is where I fell in love with Rich. I was so excited to show him this poster I made for our show.
Right.
Because I put a lot of work into it. And I was like, Rich, check this out. Look at what I made. And I hand it to him. And without missing a beat, he just turns around and throws it in the trash.
That's an old school.
And he just goes, fuck off.
That's an old school thing. That's the shit they used to do.
And it's so endearing to me. And, Robbie loved it because he thinks it makes me look like a beta.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this is camaraderie. This is like what soldiers do.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's like, I love when those guys rip on me. I think it's hilarious. No one's laughing harder than me. I was one time with Bobby Kelly and somebody else, and they were just shitting all over me. And I was crying laughing. I go, this is hilarious. I was never once offended or upset or sad. I go, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, because they're comedians and they're good at making you understand that it's not real.
Right.
And then there's a lot of people who ball bust who are just mean. Yeah. And I know that they're joking, but also I'm like, can you just give me some reassurance that you're joking?
A wink, like, a grin.
Yeah. Like, I deal with that a lot with Lewis. Like, it's, this kayfabe shit, this wrestling shit. I'm just always like, I just need a little more of a nod to be like, this is a bit. We're doing a bit.
Yeah. I think if I would have went to New York, I probably would have been hanging around you guys a lot. I could see myself. I know Lewis. I don't know him well. We've met, talked, but I have a feeling I would gravitate towards him because his style is kind of like I like what he does. Well,
he is a real fucking businessman and community builder.
Yeah.
He catches a lot of flack, but I think it's because people are stupid and don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Because what he's done out here, you and I have met club owners and they're dickheads.
Sure.
And so he's building a community, much like a comedy club, and he's not a dickhead. He's a dickhead, but he's an actual like good person.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you could tell. I could tell through all the shtick that there's a good dude there who's looking out. And
yeah. He
cares too. He cares.
He pushes himself too hard. He's got so many irons in the fire that he's just anxious all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know when he's going to calm down, but I'm looking at the work on his plate and all he's doing, and I'm like, oh, this guy like is working hard to support people.
Yeah.
And they misinterpret what he's doing because they're so self-involved. They don't understand business.
Yeah.
Because I've worked in sales. I've worked with a lot of Lewis's. I've read the 48 Laws of Power that he preaches. I've hung out with felons.
What's the 48 Laws of Power?
It is a book that teaches you how to be a sociopath.
Okay.
It teaches you how to understand empathy and then use it to sell things to people. There's a lot of value in it, but where it's dangerous is have you seen American Psycho?
Of course.
you can walk away from that book just becoming Patrick Bateman.
And you chopping people up to Huey Lewis songs?
No, not like that, but just becoming a guy who never thinks about the means that he's using to get to his ends. It's just it's just business. Everything is business. And you don't see that it's like affecting people emotionally, you know?
I bet Bert Kreischer read this book.
A lot of people have read it, and it's valuable. When I worked in sales, I think there's a lot of value to it, but it can get intense if you're in sales mode 24/7, because then people start to view your the relationship they have with you as like business, like they're business partners rather than friends.
I guarantee Chrissy Mayer and Frank read this together.
So I, that's where his head's at. He's in business mode.
Right.
And I'm not a businessman. I understand it, but I just like doing stand up and hanging out with people. And I would like some stability at some point in my life, but
you're still a young guy though. How old are you?
I'm 28, but my life has really fucking sucked.
I thought you were enjoying yourself.
I am now.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, but man, up until probably November, it was just a series of tragedies and grief.
Yeah. When was the last time you did acid?
Pretty Skankfest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, November 7th through the 9th.
Did you get COVID at Skankfest like everybody else?
No, I got an ear infection.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, me, Mike Racine, and Karen Margolis all had ear infections.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
How the fuck?
I don't know, man. I think it's because our immune systems got weakened by wearing masks for 2 years that were getting children's illnesses.
Yeah, because now everyone forgot about all the other illnesses. We're all just focused on that one. So now that it's all going to creep up on everybody. That's hilarious. I want to do Skankfest next year. I'm like kind of arrogant. Like I feel like I should be asked. Like I shouldn't have to submit or ask.
No, Chad, I'm fucking telling you, dude. You're like thinking too hard. The truth of it is, the three people that make up the board of directors of Skankfest, and when I say board of directors, I'm using that word as a placeholder for the carnies that take this show on the road.
Yeah.
They're really busy. So you would have to say something. You would have to reach out. Yeah.
And I know Rebecca and I know Jay's girlfriend and then Lewis, but I was like, I've been around. I've got some credits. I'm in the mix. I'm past
but you're in
clubs.
Florida right now. You like they don't know you exist right now because we're all up here.
Yeah,
in this miserable hellhole of New York. It's nothing. You're being a dipshit, Chad. You're being arrogant.
Yeah,
and you're taking yourself too seriously.
Yeah. Well, I did it.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't talk like that. You're fine.
I did it 1 year when I was in Brooklyn. I did it the last time I was in Brooklyn, but I didn't I wasn't asked to do it. I just showed up and they started putting me on all kinds of shows. But I was like, I want to be on a flyer.
Yeah,
I want a wanted poster.
I've always struggled with that since I started. Was like I never want to ask to be on shows.
Same.
And the more and more I do this, the more I'm like, I get. You just have to ask people. You have to email them because they don't even know. They're not even thinking about you. And it's not even to do with anything other than they got too much going on.
Yeah.
Because I did that with Frantic up here. Like I'm friends with Karen Feehan and Aaron and everyone at the stand, but that show was booked months and months ahead of time, and it's just a busy place. So I had to pester Karen for a while, being like, "Hey, can you please book me for Frantic?"
Right.
And I just kept asking her, and I finally got booked for it. She put in a word with Patrick, and I went up first in the night. Had a great set, and I said, "Thank you. That is all I needed. That's it." I'm like, I won't bother anyone anymore.
Yeah, I did Frantic. I did it when I was in New York last. I don't know when I'm coming back. I'm not vaccinated, so that's a problem.
Yeah, that too. The world's in turmoil, dude. I gotta tell you, this all ties into plugs. We'll get back to plugs now.
Yeah, let's back to the plugs.
I am exploring new technologies,
Ooh.
new things in the world.
You're on Grindr?
So, yeah, I'm having homosexual sex, sodomy with men. No, do you remember Clubhouse?
Yeah. Yes.
Clubhouse was like a three-way phone.
I didn't understand it.
Me neither. It was like it's this weird thing that just existed where it was like a phone call, but for yuppies. I don't know. But on Twitter now has this thing called Spaces, Twitter Spaces, that they started a few months ago. And and I was just laying in bed at like 4 a.m, tripping on acid one night. And I was on Twitter and I saw this purple bar at the top of the screen. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I clicked on it, and it was a space being hosted by some whore in Montreal, some comedian who was talking about that she likes to get nutted in. Oh. Nut mommy. Shout out to @sexy mom on Twitter.
Is that her name?
Her out. Yeah, @sexy mom.
She's a comic?
She says she is. And she just kept talking about, she was like, I like to get nutted in. And I go, yeah. Nut mommy, is it? You like to get nutted in? What city did you say you're in?
Oh my God.
And I just kept fucking with her like that, like hinting that I wanted to fuck her.
Oh, that's
and
great.
She eventually got frustrated, but everyone else in there was laughing. And I go, all right, listen to my podcast, loudboys.com/Patreon. Bye. And then I just started my own space and had a chat with people. And I just kept doing it. I've been calling it the Spaces Tapes.
Oh.
And I do it like an Art Bell style call-in show. Remember Art Bell?
No.
Or George Norrie even?
Are they radio guys?
Yeah, AM.
Art Bell. Let me look.
Art Bell was like a late night conspiracy talk show guy.
Okay.
And he was just really good at talking to those people. And he was never condescending like Bill O'Reilly or any of those guys. He was just like a dude who was good at radio, like Opie and Anthony, except he talked about aliens and Sasquatches. And I always loved that show because we moved around a lot. And so I was always in my dad's truck listening to it while we drove from Georgia to North Carolina to Tennessee, finally to Texas. And so that's what I've been doing with it. And I've just been playing with it for the last few months, building an audience.
So how do people find you? How do people find you?
So you can find me on Twitter @NewDalton69420. Follow me there, and I will be hosting Spaces Tapes whenever I'm bored in my bedroom.
And tripping on acid.
But I tell you, that all leads into this, because the whole time I've been doing this, like a lot of my friends have been giving me shit about it.
What's the handle again? New Dalton?
It's @NewDalton69420.
69420.
Yes. I got to plug in my phone.
You actually have you got some good followers here.
Yeah, I've been a madman on there lately. I'm trying to confuse the algorithm. That's my big project right now. If you'll notice, my profile picture is me as a juggalo, and my cover photo is Tony Soprano on the cover of Tool's Lateralus. So right there, that's already too much.
You think that's gonna make the algorithm go?
I think that's going to confuse a lot of people already. And then all of my tweets are just insane. So the algorithm doesn't know what I am.
Unfuckable narcissists have ruined autism. You're not autistic, just an asshole who happens to collect toys. So you're all over the place.
I'm all over the place, dude. I've been talking about calculus, juggalos, ICP, linguistics.
Jesus Christ.
It's crazy. And it's working. Because here's the thing. The whole time I've been doing this shit, all my friends are like worried about me. They're like, what are you doing? What is going on? And I'm like, I'm having fun and trying to promote myself as a comedian. And the whole time I say, guys, whatever you think about the guy, we saw Dane Cook do this when we were children. We watched him log on to MySpace and build an empire by having fun on the internet. And so I eventually, by using Twitter Spaces, found a room that Dane Cook was hosting and jumped in and talked to him for like 20 minutes. And Chad, he is insane.
I know Dane.
Do you know him?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about him?
He's always been cool to me. Even when he was at playing the stadiums, always cool. I mean,
when I say insane, I mean in the way of like Gary V or Tony Robbins. Do you know what I mean?
Like he's very passionate.
Like, he's so intense and so like, it's like, damn, dude. I feel like I'm at I'm walking on coals while you guide me.
Yeah.
But also there's a lot of ego in that kind of thing too.
Sure.
So that's where I'm like, I don't know. Celebrity and fame is so weird to me. I can tell he's a good dude, but it's just his whole story is fucking crazy.
It is pretty insane, but I'll tell you, this is a funny Dane story to piggyback his intensity. I was at the Hollywood Improv doing a show. We were on the same show, and we're in the hallway. You ever been at the Hollywood Improv before? In Melrose?
No, I'm country boy. I've never been anywhere.
Oh, okay. It's a hallway, and I knew Dane was a big Star Wars fan, and the movie Rogue One just came out. It was like a spinoff of Star Wars. Well, it was like a prequel to Star Wars, and I thought it was pretty good. And I knew Star Wars fans liked it because So I went up to Dane. I go, okay, well, I'll talk, because I always try to, like, if I see a guy like Dane, I want to know, like, what's my in with him. I go, I could bring up Rogue One. I just saw it. So I walked over to Dane. I go, Dane, what'd you think of Star Wars? And he was like in the middle of a conversation. He turns to me. It goes Rogue One, Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars in that order. And he turned away. I was like, Jesus Christ. But it was like super.
You know what's funny is my mind is like that. Yeah. Like if someone asks me a question like that, I've immediately got a very passionate, opinionated response.
Yeah.
But I try to dole it out in a better way. Yeah. I try to not just go, ah! I'm like, oh yeah, here, let's talk about Star Wars. I'll tell you, let's sit down and really go over it. Yeah, I don't just explode and I'm like, yeah, Star Wars.
He came at me like he's been being asked that all day long, and he just wanted to get out of the way. He was prepared, ready to go, and then he went back to what he was doing. I was like,
yeah,
damn.
it's not that. What it probably is that he is just used to so many superficial conversations with people, like a lot of people asking him nonsense that he doesn't care about. Yeah. And I bet you what was happening in that moment is he was having that kind of conversation with whoever he was talking to. And then you came in and said something about Star Wars, and he took the time to, in that moment, explode and go, I love Star Wars, and then get back to this horse shit he was talking to, whatever this person was.
And the other time I talked to him was at the Comedy Store, and we were in the back room. And what is the thing where you put like water up your ass? What's that called?
Enema,
yeah. Or colonics or
colonic.
Colonic, that's what it is. I go, I just talked to him about, I go, I saw you at the gym today. He goes, yeah, I've been working out a lot since my colonic. And I go, oh, okay, well, good. I was like, you're doing
good. That's a good impression of him.
Is it really?
That was the way you enunciated colonic was very Dane.
Yeah, he likes to enunciate words.
Oh yeah, he fancies himself a wordsmith.
Yeah. he was always cool. Even when people were all shitting on him and stuff, I was like, I don't hate the guy. I mean,
I don't hate him. No, I talked to him on Twitter Spaces at New Dalton 69420. Also follow my friend Dane Cook. I talked to him on there. And I could tell he's a lot like me, where he's like very curious and well-read and tries to keep his finger on the pulse. But he's also just living such an insane life. I'm only I only know about that whole shit with his brother based on what I've heard in media. But something like that.
And then his parents died in the same year from cancer. The same year.
Yeah. And I gotta tell you, man, like I'm estranged from my brother for very different reasons.
Same. I have a half brother I'm estranged from.
My half brother, yeah. And for whatever reason, when you have that sort of disconnect in your family and that longing to just kind of know to be with your family, but it just can't happen.
Right.
I don't know. That does because I don't know the guy. Like it's so weird that I just have this brother out there and these nieces and nephews that I'll just never have a relationship with. So I can't imagine what that's like when that guy is also the person that stole all of your money.
Yeah. Well, I have a half brother. He has a son. I'm an uncle. I never met the kid, and he pretty much, when my parents died, took the house. He forged the will. He got everything, and he kind of stole everything from me. So I can relate.
It's crazy, dude. Yeah, no, my brother.
I'll never speak to him again. I'll never speak to him again. That's what's weird.
Yeah, which is good for you, man. Like,
yeah, like my dad leaving. That was good for me too.
That was also good. To be honest with you, it might be because my dad is the kind of person that would stick around, but he's so distant in his head because of like his own shit that he raised me like a soldier. And that's what happened to my brother. My half brother just became another soldier. This guy's a motherfucker. He was infantry in the army. And then he said, no, this is for pussies. And he did all this like crazy training, like psychological torture shit to become a sniper and a paratrooper, like jumping out of planes to go snipe Al Qaeda or whatever. And so he's got like bodies, not just from infantry, but like sniping, like Chris Kyle shit. Yeah. And now he's a cop. Like my dad became a prison guard. My brother became a cop in just a small town in Georgia. And it's so weird, man. It's so weird to see this guy I've never talked to, I haven't spoken to him in probably 11, 12 years. It's so weird to see that he turned out exactly like my dad. And yeah. I became a dipshit.
Yeah. Well, my half brother became a clone of my stepfather, just an asshole, complete dick, abusive. So I get that. I can relate. I understand.
Yeah. And I will say I did try to reach out to him recently. It was probably like a month ago. I called him and we talked for like 15, 20 minutes about nothing. And this is where I can tell he's my brother because we immediately just started talking about conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So, I walked away from the conversation at least being like, all right, well, we're related. Like that was nice that we just were able to do that and talk for 20 minutes about why there were so many fireworks in New York at the beginning of COVID. Remember that?
Yeah, of course. I didn't know we talk conspiracy theories. Our Patreon number is going to go up like Tim Dillon.
Oh, I think they're fun. I think it's a fun way to do a little creative thinking. You just can't take it too seriously.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
That's why I try to come up with really stupid ones because then I hope people can see that I'm joking.
Right, like Louis J. Gomez is gay.
Louis J. Gomez is gay. That's what the J stands for, is gay in Spanish.
Yeah, jerking off men. J stands for jerking off men.
Jerking off men. Louis jerking off men Gomez. No, I have a.
Someone's going to clip that. Someone's going to clip it and tweet at Louis. That's going to happen.
I'll tell you the conspiracy I'm working on right now. Here's the fun one. I think what we've all been waiting on as far as COVID goes, like all of this, and it's very simple. This ends when one person dies. Mm-hmm. You want to guess who that is?
I'd say Ted Alexandro.
Good point. No, I'm saying it might be that we're just waiting on Rupert Murdoch to die.
Really?
Yeah. And here's the fun conspiracy. I didn't know he was still alive. I got him confused with Roger Ailes, who was the head of Fox News who did die.
I got him confused with Roger Ebert.
No, Rupert Murdoch just owns so much of like the media. He has like a monopoly on media. He owns all these different news corporations. And so he effectively owns the media.
He's 90 years old.
He's 90 years old, and he's been raising his children as his business partners.
His net worth is $21 billion. Shit.
Yep. Yeah. He's been raising his children as his business partners rather than his children. And so I think what's happening now, and I'm basing all of this from the show Succession, but I think what's happening now is he's on his way out. He's 90. And what happens anytime, if you look at like the Plantagenets, like ancient medieval England, Game of Thrones, anytime there's the potential for a power vacuum, there is chaos.
By the way, if you Google Rupert Murdoch, all the news articles is him buying shit. Like he just bought a Montana ranch.
That's what he does. Dude, it's so stupid how simple it is. He's just a hoarder. He's Scrooge McDuck, and it's fucking with our lives.
Yeah, he buys everything.
Yeah, he's buying everything. And what's happening is he's about to die, and so he needed a way to create this chaos to shake things up, because what he owns is legacy media. He's never gotten his hands in tech in any real way. And so now that he's on his way out, he created this insane scenario where the entire internet and social media, all this shit that he doesn't have a part of, lost all meaning. We're all at each other's throats. We're all fighting all the time. Twitter's a hellscape. Like, no, it's all crazy. And now what's going to happen is now the Murdochs can have a place on the internet. Now they can own a piece of the internet finally. And so now he's going to die, and either James or Lachlan Murdoch is going to be the one that determines what our future looks like.
Now, this is your conspiracy theory?
This is my conspiracy. This is just a grain of salt, but I'm telling you, man, because if you look at the influence our media just has on our overall psyche, and then you look at who Rupert Murdoch is, the control he's had over the media for the last 50 years, 40, 50 years, maybe, wouldn't it stand to reason that if he's dying and there's this power vacuum that's being created by his death, like it's like we need a successor for the throne, sure. Shakespeare, wouldn't it stand to reason that everything would kind of get thrown into turmoil if this is the king of the media, if you think of it that way?
Where does Bill Gates fit in?
Bill Gates is another oligarch. He's different. I'm just saying, like, as far as this mass hysteria and panic, by the way, they definitely work together. I'm just saying that what causes the panic to die down, what gets everybody to calm down, finally, is when Rupert Murdoch dies.
I'm buying into this. It sounds good to me. But then what'll happen is it's not like everything gets fixed right away, because these people like James and Lachlan Murdoch, they live in ivory towers. They live in these celestial cities where they have no understanding of the world at all. They just understand quarterly numbers and spreadsheets and business. So when it comes to shit like this, they're just looking at projections and going, all right, so dad's going to die. So what's our strategy moving forward? We have to reintegrate Donald Trump into media, get him to become a figure again so people can get excited, do a little wrestling. And then what we're going to do is start pushing for actual reform of all these things that we've been saying we're going to do, but still haven't done. Because what we're actually waiting to happen is for Rupert Murdoch to die. I mean, you know what? As I get older and I see the hypocrisy and the bullshit from people, I believe more and more and more that people, like influencers, guys like Rupert Murdoch, Bill Gates, they're the biggest pieces of shit, and they're calling the shots. So
Chad, it's so much worse than that. It's so much more disturbing than it would be comforting if they were actually pieces of shit. It's that they're indifferent.
Yeah.
It's like they only see the world in terms of like profit.
Yeah.
And really the horror that happens in the world is just part of the, quarterly budget. You know what I mean?
It's like, yeah, it's just statistics and numbers, and they don't.
Yeah,
there's no.
If they were actually a villain, it would create like a narrative. It would be romantic, but they're not. They exist in the shadows. They wheel and deal behind closed doors, so you can never get a grip on what's actually happening. And then they create these villains. These people that already exist, they just use them as pawns on a chessboard so that they can keep making money. It's like that's what Trump was. Trump was always that guy. He was always just this bombastic, just hoorah rah, anything for ratings kind of guy. And so if you own the media and you want to really do numbers and ratings, wouldn't you get in bed with a guy like that and make him the president? Wouldn't that create a ratings boom for the next 4 years that people just have never seen before?
That's why I think he's coming back in 2024. And
that's what I'm telling you, dude. That's what I'm telling you is when Rupert Murdoch dies or it finally retires, they're going to start showing us Trump again in the media. And then by 2024, if he's not running again, he's at least going to be a presence in media and politics.
Do you think Rupert Murdoch read 48 Laws of Power?
He might, dude. He might have just been born knowing that. This dude's crazy. This dude, you could fall down a rabbit hole getting into this guy because he's a riddle wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in an enigma. He's been around forever. He's from Australia, and whatever he did over there, he got ran out of the country. He did something over there that pissed off the entire country.
He's like Eddie Ift. Go ahead.
He's had beef with the country his whole life. And by the way, this ties into the conspiracy. Doesn't it seem odd to you that the country that kicked him out and never accepted him is now the one that's like a fucking police state right now?
Interesting. Conspiracy theory. You should get him on Loud Boys.
Rupert Murdoch?
Yeah.
No, you know what I'm actually trying to do? I want to, because I think this is also part of Murdoch's strategy. Have you noticed that Greg Gutfeld has the #1 late night show on TV?
Yeah.
I just want to write for Gutfeld, dude. Get me in that writer's room. I want to write for the #1 late night show on TV.
Oh, my buddy Jim Florentine does that show a lot, and he goes,
well, then tell him I'm sorry because I scared the shit out of him at Skankfest.
Oh, you did?
Dude, I was tripping hard on mushrooms, and I was just going up to all these different people outside, like audience, and being very mushroomy and just putting my hand on them and going, hey, thank you so much for being here. I love you. And then walking away. And it was like some people were smitten and others would laugh. It was just funny. It was just a fun thing I was doing. And then I went in the green room and saw Jim Florentine, and I did that to him, and he goes, what? And I go, nothing, man. I'm just thinking. And he goes, what? And I said, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. And then I ran away.
Yeah, that's yeah. If he knows you were on mushrooms, he'll be like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I was tripping so hard.
Well, I'm sure it's fine. It's fine.
No, it's fine. I know it's fine. He doesn't know who I am, by the way. He just had an encounter with a chubby kid in the green room. So you don't actually have to say anything to him.
He did tell me a lot of people were fucked up at Skankfest. He did.
Yeah, I'm sure he's very understanding. Yeah. But if you do want to put in a good word for me to write for Gutfeld, I'm very conservative. And yes. I believe in what Fox News is doing, and I love comedy. Yeah. Okay,
No, I'm all in. I'll hook that up. No problem. I'll get you a job.
Give me a job at Gutfeld, Chad. You're my link to Gutfeld. And you know what I'll do? I'll buy you a gallon of milk from Brahms.
Look at that. That's how you put a bow on a show, guys. That's how you deal.
That's what we call the art of the deal.
Art of the deal. Trump. That's a bow. That is a callback. Again, Dylan, where can people find you?
Well, first off, my name is Dalton.
Or Dalton.
Thank you for having me.
Dalton, I know it's Dalton. I'm looking at a photo of Bob Dylan. So.
Oh, well, then thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at newdalton69420. I'm on Instagram at saltydalty69420.
Salty.
And then my podcast is called The Loud Boys, iTunes, YouTube,
Patreon.
And then Patreon is where the premiums are. Patreon.com/loudboys. We're gonna have our live show there Monday. It'll be up. And then we got some live dates in January 14th. We're going to be at the Creek in the Cave in Austin. January 15th, we're going to be at Hyenas in Fort Worth over there on Commerce Street, Sundance Square. And then January 16th, we're going to be at Andy's Bar in Denton, Texas.
Yeah.
Comedy Fight Club.
And aren't you going to have Jason Lee on?
Jason Lee will be there with the Chipmunks.
Oh, yeah. He was in that movie too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And and then on the 13th, this will be just me, part of a showcase. I'm going to be at the Addison Improv.
Shout out Pang Dang.
Shout out Pang Dang. Shout out Sean Trainer. Shout out
Raymond Cook.
Raymond Cook.
There it is.
You been there?
I do Houston and Addison. Or you say you're going to be in Addison?
Yeah, Addison.
Arlington is the one.
Oh, Arlington's the Black Room. Who are you working with?
I worked with Godfrey there.
Yeah, that adds up. That checks out.
Yeah, I was the white opener for a while for Godfrey.
Trust me, Chad, if you're getting booked for the Arlington Improv, you are the white opener.
I am the white opener. It's pretty...
No, but I'm saying any white person that's getting booked for that place, somebody needed a white guy.
That's the only reason.
Yeah. Like Bruce is in town and he needs a white guy.
Well, Godfrey, like we're good friends and I can handle those urban rooms well. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you knew him.
I'm friends with him. Yeah, no,
okay,
I toured with him
guys
for like years. I was his opener for a long time.
Okay, then that's different. I'm sorry. Because there's guys who will come through and they'll just tell the club, find me a funny white person. I need a white person to open for me. Because they want to do that where it's like, man, can you believe this white? Aren't you guys must be pretty bored after that horse shit.
Yeah, they want to make fun of you.
Yeah, it's a layup.
Yeah, fucking Avion Crockett, you cunt. He did that to me at the Cleveland Improv. I'll never forgive him. I hope he dies from COVID.
You'll never forgive a guy named Avion Crockett?
No, because
I feel like he can do no wrong based on the name alone.
He wouldn't even let me into the fucking green room, cunt.
Oh, I've worked with guys who are like that. That's fucking crazy. I've never understood that.
It's camaraderie, right? That's why we got into it.
I'll tell you this. For a guy like Avion Crockett has no right to do that. Now, a guy like Bob Saget, I could see wanting his own green room. You know what I mean?
Very nice. He's very friendly.
Because at Skankfest, I went to go in the green room and somebody was sitting outside and he goes, they're not letting anybody in there. And I go, oh, who's in there? And he goes, Bob Saget. And I go, oh, that makes sense.
Now, if it was Dave Coulier, that's a different story.
If it was Dave Coulier, I would have busted the door down and said, cut it out.
All right, Dalton, I appreciate you doing the podcast. Leave a 5-star review on the iTunes, and I will. If you ever come to fucking Florida, hit me up.
I absolutely will. I love Florida.
And I could hook up some gigs too. Maybe I could do a little Florida tour.
Yeah, when does this come out?
Tuesday.
And is it free or premium?
I do Patreon, and then a week later I release it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be sure to share it then.
Yeah, I'll tag you in it. That'd be great.
Okay. Yeah, for sure, man.
All right. Stay safe, and I will talk to you soon, man.
All right. Go to Brahms.
Brahms, baby. Sponsored by Brahms. Get Silk City hot sauce at Brahms. Use the promo code Zumock for 15% off. Good night.